righty, here we go.
Growth isn't intuitive, it is intentional. Who you're surrounded by is who you're becoming.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of Relationship Wise. I am YB.
And I'm Reese.
And we are so excited that you guys have joined us right here on the best relationship podcast in the world. The only place where you're going to get two people who've been married for a very long time, being open. What the heck is opus?
What?
Anyway, open and honest about relationships with ourselves, with others, and with our bodies. So that is pretty awesome. Listen, we have expanded the platforms that we're on. So you can hear us on Apple Podcasts. You can hear us on iHeartRadio. You can hear us on Google Play Music. Where else, Reese? I don't know.
Anywhere you
Spotify.
can listen to podcasts.
Yeah, anywhere where you listen to podcasts. We are going to be all up in your area. Like, what is that? Brown Sugar. The Hip Hop Dalmatians. We all up in your area. We all up in your area. But anyway, wherever you listen to podcasts, look for Relationship Wise. Shoot, we even on Audible. Look at that.
Yes, we are.
So wherever we at, wherever you at, we at. So if you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Make it one of your favorite podcasts if you haven't done that already. Follow us on IG, the Relationship Wise Podcast on IG. And you can follow our personal IGs too. I'm at YirmeyYahoo15. That's YirmeyYahu 15. What's your IG?
Mine is Reese Yosef. So
Okay.
that's TheresyYosef.
Okay, Miss Yosef.
Yeah, I only do IG, so I don't do all the other socials.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, IG is where we at. So the relationship,
my mental health.
That's true. So the Relationship Wise podcast on IG, and then our personal podcast. And again, share this with 10 people that you know. 10 people that you know. So what we doing? What we talking about today?
We're talking about things are relationship wise.
Oh,
How you doing?
I don't know. I just want to know what's the topic, subject. What is it? Being a consumer? What is that? Consumer versus
No. We talked about like adding value because you
right.
did
So that, but we're
IG
talking about
thing.
specifically being a consumer versus a
contributor.
Contributor versus a consumer. There you go.
Oh,
There you go. See, we ain't all got it together yet. It's been a very long day, ladies and gentlemen. Very long day. It's okay. But yes, relationship wise, how am I doing? Let's see. So as you guys know, if you've been tracking with us, following us, especially on IG, you know that we're doing a 7-week challenge to try to get healthy. It's not always about just losing weight. That should be a byproduct of health. Because everybody's not going to lose the same amount of pounds. Some people are just, presupposed to, big bonedness, So
Yeah.
that's
That's
just because you're skinny don't mean you're healthy. Just because you're big don't mean you're
very true.
unhealthy. If that's the case, like every athlete in the world is unhealthy then because they all over their BMI. But anyway. So yeah, doing this little 7-week challenge. As I said before, like I think some of the food is rejecting me. But I think over the week,
Okay.
we found the foods that we kind of like, right? Shout out to Fit Man Cook. I think it's Kevin something. Next time I'll have his name next time. I need to get a brother credit where credit's due. You know what I'm saying? He coming up with the recipes. He doing the hard work. We just following instructions. But anyway, I think it's okay. I wish I was more like at 10 pounds lost right now, but I'm not. I'm at 3. And that's because last week I gained 1.5 pounds. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as far as my body is concerned. Relationship with others. I don't know, man. I think it's good. So, so about me, I usually just roll with a very small group of people anyway. So, even back home, I, had 4 good friends and then here I have, 2 really good friends. And I think we, talking about value, I think all 3 of us add value to each other's lives. spiritually and educationally and monetarily and all these other different things. And just skills that we learned over life, just having three different perspectives and worldviews and all that good stuff. So, yeah, um, relationship with myself. I mean, I love myself. Um,
You always have.
I love myself more than anybody in the world. So I think that's always going to be healthy. But not to negate people that some people have issues with confidence and self esteem and all that good stuff. And it's very hard for some people. So I just thank God that it comes to me real easy. So that's kind of
I mean,
my
you can
spiel.
have love yourself and still have low self esteem. It's just your love of self.
What?
I'm just saying your love of self is just uncertain. Like you love yourself, but it's like you need additional, you know, approval or confirmation from others
I
that it's okay for
guess.
you to love
I guess I
yourself.
kind of got
So,
like Kanye level confidence in
all
myself. So
right. Well, yikes. Um,
yikes, man! Please, that's the goat. Don't disrespect Kanye.
I mean, whatever.
Shout out to Kanye West. Come on a podcast. All
All right.
right.
Okay, so I was gonna ask, what do you think contributed to your struggle? I know you said the food is rejecting you, but what's contributing to your struggle with, your health journey?
So we were watching uh what is it? What's the show we watch in the morning? We don't watch Good Morning America. We don't like Good Morning America. Nothing
Oh,
against
one
it.
of them, Good
Today
Morning
Show.
America. Okay, yeah, one of
And they
those.
asked Al Roker, what's contributing to, Americans having a problem with weight loss? It's like they eat too damn much. That's what it is.
Well,
It ain't that
so
I ate.
that's your thing. You eat too
It's not even that I
much.
ate a lot. It was just what I ate, I guess. I honestly don't even remember what I ate last week. It was such a blur. But I know we didn't
Mm,
we didn't we didn't meal prep or anything of that nature. So I
yeah.
just kind of like I was just eating whatever I can get my hands on instead of
Right.
being very intentional. Remember we
Hmm.
talked about living very intentionally.
Hmm.
I did not live intentionally last week. I was not
Yeah,
living with intent last week.
and it
So
backfired. Yeah.
yeah, sure enough backfired.
Mm, that's good. Um, let's see.
Relationship wise, how you doing?
Me, I think I'm doing fine.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, this 7-week challenge we're doing,
Mhm.
which we know we'll share more about it as we get to the end of it and we
Right, right,
complete
right.
it because I think it should definitely be promoted. But we're just kind of going through it just to experience it for ourselves, and then just kind of experience the transformation ourselves. Also, I think it's going well for me. What am I? 4 pounds down,
Okay,
I think,
okay,
and
okay.
this is our third week. All right, settle down.
All right.
This is just the start of a third week. And really, my goal, and when we started, we had to write down what our goals are for this
Mm-hmm.
period of time. And mine was just to have more energy.
Right,
I mean, I do have a weight goal. It's just, but I think my weight goal is more tied to having more energy.
right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I feel good. Like I said, I think last time, like I have more energy than I've had in a while.
That's good.
Because
That's
I'm
good.
trying to be more I'm trying to feed myself true nutrients. So
Okay.
instead, I mean, chips I love, especially at bedtime.
Dang. Shh. It's
So
good
I'm
salt.
trying
Get yourself some
to,
good salt and vinegar chips.
man, them
Ooh, some
sweet
good.
chili Doritos.
Oh, nah, I'm super
Whatever, they
straight
are
on that
fire.
one.
Anyway,
Some flaming hot
so just
Cheetos.
making different changes and
Making myself
adjustments.
hungry.
Okay. Just making changes and adjustments. I feel good about that because I also feel good about myself when I make better choices.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think this is so. This is start of third week. This is the
So we've
third
done
week in a
2
row.
weeks.
So it's been 2 full weeks. So 2 full weeks that I haven't had any gut issues, and I'm glad about that because I hate being uncomfortable
And you're good.
in my gut.
And you're good.
I mean, not to be gross. I mean, it's not like anything gross. It's just really uncomfortable. Like when you eat
And you're good.
3 bites and you feel extremely full. If whenever from what I've read, and I'm a great self-diagnoser.
Absolutely. You have Munchausen syndrome, or however
Nope,
you pronounce that. Yes, you do.
no,
Hypochondriac. Is that what they
mm,
call them?
mm,
That just
mm.
pronounce all these things over their
No. I
lives.
think I'm
That's
just
not
a good
true.
diagnoser of self. I
Hypochondriac.
think it's like really inflammation related, and so now that I'm
In your
eating,
gut.
I'm good. Whatever. Anyway, all of that to say, I feel good.
oh.
Um, what's the next one? Relationship relationship with others. This is what happened when you
Oh,
go to bed.
hey, hey. Yeah, relationship with yourself, relationship with your body, relationship with
Okay.
others.
So I'll go with others first. I think it's great. Like, I mean, just like you, I keep a small group of friends. I'm an introvert. I don't like a whole lot of extra interactions because that drains me. But in those relationships that I do have, I think, I mean, things are going well. I mean, things can always be better, more. And the thing with me is, I just like a lot of depth in my relationships and my
Okay.
friendships. So if it's lacking some level of depth, I try to find, you know, I don't know. I try to kind of think through like, well, what's missing? How do we get to that next level? Because then that's what
Right.
really makes the friendship meaningful. So I mean, overall, it's good. And then with myself, I feel good about myself. I'm learning a lot about
I feel good
myself.
about you too.
Thank you. Um, I'm learning a lot. I said something to the kids earlier, and they made fun of me because I was telling them,
Yeah,
um,
kids be tripping when you be dropping gems.
what did I tell them?
We be trying to give our kids, $1 million worth of game for $9.99, but they
Oh,
be
here it
tripping.
is. So yeah, I was just telling them, don't wait until you're an adult, or don't live your life waiting on other people's approval, or letting other people decide whether you're valuable or not. Just
Message.
trust your value, have confidence in that. And even if others around you don't see it or don't approve of it, doesn't mean that you don't have value. Just
That's right.
believe in yourself, and then
That's
just
good.
keep doing what you're really good at. And they're like, "Oh, you just not learning that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." One of them just busted out laughing.
That's the
Just,
middle child.
you get no respect. She's
Shout
like,
out to all the
"Really?"
middle childs out there. Y'all, y'all cause y'all parents all kind of headaches.
So yeah, but anyway, um, feel good about myself, and so yeah, just pretty good all around.
All right. Well, let's get right into this episode. We're talking about how do we add value to relationships? So I did a very short snippet on IG. If you follow us again on IG at the Relationship Wise Podcast on Instagram, we put out a lot of good reels. We put out a lot of value, right?
You
Um,
put
so
out a
you,
lot of good reels.
well, I mean, step your game up, you get there too. It's all right. But anyway, we put out some good reels for you guys to watch. A lot of value, a lot of like quick, snippets about different things. And one of them today was about value because that's like this buzzword, right? That's been around for a while. Well, I ain't gonna be around nobody who ain't had no value. You got to be adding value to the friendship. And most people that say that really ain't adding no value to the friendship. And if they are, like, asking for the
Oop.
receipts, and they're not going to be able to, most of the time, produce those receipts. But simply what I said on
Sheesh.
the IG is that adding value is whatever knowledge you have amassed from whatever industries that you know of, whether you've college educated, self-educated. I don't care if you're a mechanic. I don't care if you know how to build websites, if you know the stock market, spirituality, uh, you good with kids, you love kids, and your friends got a lot of kids, and you can watch your kids and let your friends go on dates and
Love
stuff and all that
kids.
good stuff. Like whatever kind of value you can add to a relationship, you do that freely, right? Do it free of charge. You just give of yourself in these relationships, and when you do that, what you give, you get back from those other people, and together, you guys can both be growing in this parallelism of success together. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's kind of the
Yeah.
adding value. So that's like the giving part. But we're talking about, so that would be the contributor of a relationship. But then we have the opposite of somebody who doesn't add value, and those people are the consumers. And I think the issue is that most people in the world are consumers. They look at what can I get out of this instead of what can I give to this situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, and I must say, so the idea of being a contributor or consumer in a relationship, and I mean, there's different levels of
Mhm.
involvement of someone's lives. Is come it, Sorry, the inspiration came from a friend who's reading this book. It's called Seven Traits of Effective Parenting.
Okay.
Um, and in that
Not
book,
too usually a fan of parenting books, but yeah,
no, I
whatever.
mean, I don't
I'm
read
not
them a whole
personally,
right. I
but
don't read them a whole lot, but a lot of times they have a lot of good just tips here and there. But basically from that book they talk about just and I think we mentioned it last week too, being an influencer,
Mhm.
contributor,
Right.
consumer, encourager. Like, so just the different ways that you.
This was in your women's group?
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, and I mean, we just took snippets from that. Uh, Shout out to Kelly D. Bonner, who led that. But so yeah, the idea of just giving value. Number one, I think my issue with that at the beginning was that people were always saying, "Well, you need to bring value," but there was never a clear.
How do I do that?
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, what do you want? So I think people have to be able to communicate what exactly you're looking for in a friendship and a relationship, and then I guess as you network or meet people, um, again, it's a very it feels very transactional, and even just listening to how the concept of giving value is presented, it's like a what is it, bargain system,
Mhm.
barter system.
Barter.
So you got this and I have that. Let's just give of each other services, so we can both benefit. So I feel like that applies best in business situations. When it comes to maybe social friendships, then that value looks different, because sometimes depending on where you are in your season of life, the value is, well, you have experience being a single parent, and the value is you can help me walk through that because I'm also a single parent. Or maybe if you're on same age group, you can share different, I don't know, ideas, tips, encouragement. And so value is really going to depend on the type of relationship and the season that you're in as a person.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. But I mean, I would slightly disagree. I would say that adding value is good in any relationship, friendship, romantic relationship, professional relationship. It just the value is going to look different depending on the relationship.
Right. Yeah.
So if we have a friendship, like for instance, like our friends will watch, like we'll watch their kid. They go out and do what they got to do. They'll watch our kids, so we can go on a date night or whatever. That's adding value. Like you ain't got to give me no, $1 million worth of game. Like just watch my kids. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
that's, that's adding value. Now, if I'm, you know, in a stock club, and my whole purpose of being in a stock club is to learn and to help others as I learn, I'm helping others as they come in as well. Like the people above me, I want that $1 million worth of gain. That's what I came in here for. And more than likely I'm
Right.
spending some kind of money to be
Hmm.
in this club. So I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need the value's gonna look different,
Right.
depending on the relationship. So if I'm a business relationship, yeah, it's gonna be look extremely transactional. But if you're in a friendship, if you're in a romantic relationship, or something like that, siblings, parents, children, whatever, it
Hmm.
should be more organic. Should be definitely more organic. And I would say
Yeah.
even with we don't even really think about that when we're talking about adding value. Like how are you adding value to your children? If you're listening to this and your parents are still alive, how are you adding value to your parents' life? Because there's things that we know in this generation that our parents never knew. Like for instance, I'm
Hmm.
trying to educate my mother on stocks, and I don't know none of that. Well, you don't know that they got to quit saying all that. Like there's a time like for instance, I'll give y'all some quick, very basic one-on-one game. If you're listening to this in this recording, Amazon stock is a dollar. It was like $1.21 at some point today. Not $1.21. I'm sorry. Ooh, I wish. Boy, I'd be rich. I go buy a bunch right now.
Oh,
It was
geez.
a it was a it was $121 and some
100.
change at some point today. A week ago, just about a week ago,
Hmm.
Amazon stock was about 2,000 something dollars a share. So what happened?
Hmm.
Did it plummet? Like no, it had a stock split 20-1, which means you know, if I own a bunch of stock with Amazon, they're going to split my stock 20 something ways. Now I have 19 more shares than what I had before.
Mm.
All right.
Gotcha.
But that also means for the consumer that couldn't afford the 2000 because I'm splitting it, my stock price, because I split it, now it's a little bit more affordable.
Right.
So now instead of paying $2,000 per share, I can pay $121 per share.
Hmm.
And now I can drop 500, 1,000, 1,500, $2,000. Get yourself 10, 15, 20 shares of Amazon. So when it goes back up to
Right.
$2,000, which we know it will, because Apple did the stock split as well some years ago, and this stuff went up and Google stock split is next month anyway. But when it goes up, now I got some money in my pocket. I could do anything with it. I got 15, $20,000 just sitting there. So, but you'll miss that. So this is a time when, back in the late 80s, early 90s, oh well, if I would have put, $10,000 or $1,000 in Google back in the 90s, I'll be a millionaire right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's this time right now.
Mm,
You got to do that. So just trying to explain that to my
okay.
mother. And I don't know. I said, listen, man, let me real basic. Download this Robinhood app. Super basic. You ain't got to do no Fidelity or Vanguard or nothing. Robinhood. Buy stocks on Robinhood. That's about all you can do is just buy stocks. It's very simple. And then,
Mhm.
I'll walk you this Friday. I'll walk you through one on one how to buy stocks. Just invest. I ain't trying to sell options. I ain't trying to do no day trading with my mom. She don't do all that. Hey, here's some good stocks. Here's how you know it's a good stock. Here's how you press the buy button. Here's how you press the transfer button. Very simple. I'm adding value to her life
Yeah. Or I
because
mean, is she
she
seeing it
because
as value if that's not something she's interested in? Like that's just
that's another thing
extra?
too. You got to know what you're interested. So I took a master class at my job, a couple master classes a day at my job. So I'm kind of tired. But
Mhm.
anyway, they were talking about that. So their whole thing is, of course, is a more business side. So recognizing your consumer and what they want.
Mhm.
So if I get on an app and I purchase some marathon shoes, I'm
Okay.
not going to send that customer a bunch of, you know, Jordan 1s,
Mhm.
Yeezys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want Yeezys. They want to wear a marathon.
Right.
They don't want no Jordans. They want to run a marathon. So I'm going to push more, you know, running shoes on them, you know. So just know
Yeah,
what your
it's
customer wants. But
targeted.
I have to
Okay.
show sometimes you got some people you have to show them the value in something too. Because
Mm.
knowing the
Okay.
stock market is if you know it, it's a value to anybody who has that information. It's just like,
Mm.
and some people don't see the value in some things, like
That's
knowing
true.
history. It may sound boring, but when you know history, it prepares you for you're almost like clairvoyant because
Mm.
people don't change and stuff is cyclical. Stuff happens in cycles over and the same stuff over and over and over and
Yeah.
over again. So when you start learn history teaches you patterns. When you start seeing those patterns,
Yeah.
you automatically know what's coming next. You can prepare yourself and your family.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be your eyes ain't got to be glued to Good Morning America. You ain't got to believe the lies that's in the newspapers. You
Right.
already know what's up. You know the game already
Yeah.
because you've seen it. People in the hood, they know.
Mm.
They ever look down their street and shoot, lick their finger, put it up. The air turning a certain way. Oh man, it's not a good day. Block hot. I'm staying in the house. I
Hmm.
mean, but anyway, saying all that to say, sometimes you got to show people the value in something because maybe
That's
they
true.
don't know. You
That
know what I'm
is true.
saying? So I'm, trying to do that for my mom. Just give value. Because sometimes I think as kids we neglect our parents, not on purpose. I was like, yeah, they did whatever they did for me. I'm out
Mhm.
the house. I'm raising my own family. I got my own wife. I got my own kids. Or you're a single mom, single dad, whatever you may be. Or you just, you're 20 something, 30 something single and you living your best life. And yeah, you may call your mom, your dad. You may, give them, Mother's Day, Father's Day stuff, birthday
Right. Right.
stuff. But what kind of like real value? What have you learned since you've been to college? What have you learned since you left the house? What are you learning on your 9 to 5? What are you learning in your own business that you own through entrepreneurship that you can help your parents out, even at a more seasoned age? Because if they still have breath in their lungs, that's still an
Mhm.
opportunity for them to learn something new and
Yeah.
apply that to their life. So you can even add value to your parents because
Yeah.
they pushed you out or you were swimming around in their reproductive system.
Jeez. Really.
And if they were good to you, whether you had a mom and a dad in the house or your parents were separated, whatever it may be, if your parents were a part of your life, that's value enough that you should be giving value back, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. I think. Man, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, I think also for I guess if you think about a parent and child relationship, um, even if they're not able to apply the things you're learning, I think
Hmm.
the value for them is being able to see that their next generation is able to move beyond what they were able to give them. So,
Absolutely.
they our parents brought us as far as they could based on their upbringing, what they knew, their resources.
Hmm.
And then the fact that we're able to take that information and then add on whatever new information we have and then kind of push forward to whatever the next
Right.
level is for us. I think for them that can be very rewarding and
Absolutely.
really high value. Um, so have you had any relationships, and I guess we'll just stick to friendships here, that were not bringing any value to you, or they were like not fruitful? It was just like, I don't know. I mean, it depends for you to what you consider to be a valuable relationship. But have you ever had any like relationship that you felt like that wasn't really valuable or it wasn't worth your time? So you just, I don't know, how do you end that? Or did you ever have to end one?
Gotcha. And also just warning if y'all hear noise, that's our kids in the background because they don't understand that recording podcasts, they have no respect for what we tell them. But anyway,
They're good. They're fine.
um, um, see, I can't say I've never had a relationship that didn't bring some kind of value because even just
Okay.
being around somebody that's just positive, that's
Hmm.
valuable. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I'm saying, you ain't got to be dropping $1 million worth of game. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
but just giving of your time sometimes. Sometimes um, somebody's again, you have two opposite sides. You have the giver, the what's the word you use?
Contributor.
Contributor, and then you have a consumer. So
Mhm.
there's somebody who's always sucking up somebody's time. They always over your house, uh, and usually at the most inconvenient times. And they always want to talk to you, even when you don't want to talk. They don't never ask you how you doing, how your family doing.
Mm.
Is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can help you? I'm talking. I'm running my mouth. I see you trying to clean the house, wash the dishes. Can I lend a hand? They just always in your space, dumping all they crap on you. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That is someone who's not adding value.
Just
But
got
then there's the
passionate
person
about
who's
that one.
always, hitting you up. The opposite. So it's kind of the same person on the other flip side. Hey, bruh, thinking about you, man. Let's go off to this golf course real quick and hit off a couple golf balls, man, and let's go to the gym real quick, or let's go to I don't know Burger King or something. Talk down. Let's rap. I ain't talked to you in a
Ugh.
minute. Blah blah blah. So kind of stuff like that. So I'm having a meaningful conversation. Like you're not just taking up my time. You're contributing to my time. So I've had friends like that. So most of my friends were like that. None really, I can say that didn't add some type of value, whether it was time, whether it was gyms, whether it was, just watching them, raise their children, watch how they,
Mhm.
interact with their wives. Um, Now there have been some where the friendship has changed, right? Now you're
Okay.
starting to do stuff that I
Mhm.
don't necessarily agree with. It doesn't fit into my worldview.
Mm.
It doesn't go with the trajectory of the life I'm trying to take me and my family.
Mm.
So we
Okay.
have to
Yeah.
end those relationships.
Yeah.
So I've never had a relationship that most of my relationships started off giving value, but there are some that just quit. The value stopped, right?
Mhm.
So now it
Mhm.
became more toxic because I'm like, man, you bring a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Um, you doing stuff in your relationship with your people that I don't agree with,
Mhm.
and it's causing drama in my household. So now it's not even
Well,
that you ain't giving value. It's like now you just messing up my whole
yeah, you're sucking
environment of
energy.
peace and shalom here. Um,
Yeah.
and that's when you got to like cut it off.
Mm.
Yeah. So if it's something, and I don't care if it's friendships, I would say the only time I wouldn't do this is with parents, just because I just I just think we should respect our parents no matter what. Obviously, unless they were
Mm.
abusive or different things of that nature. But
Yeah.
um, when it comes to friendships, so especially friendships, talking about friendships,
Mhm.
man, if it's not growing, if you're not getting any kind of growth, gotta cut that thing off.
Yeah.
Like because again, if there's a vine or a root of a tree that's dead,
Mhm.
it's going to impact the rest of the tree. It's going to impact the rest of the vine. Like you're gonna have
Yeah.
spoiled grapes all over the place. So
No, yeah, that's very true.
if that makes sense. I feel like I was rambling on,
Yeah.
but I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. I think with friendships, I think it's important, especially as we get older. When you're a kid, you're just kind of everything's very social. It's just whatever. But as you get older, I think it's important to assess friendships because a lot of times they're not helping you move forward. Sometimes they enable you to be stagnant and not grow. So it's I think it's important to really assess those relationships and see, like we said last time, like set clear goals for yourself and then
Hmm.
look at your environment, and are each of these relationships, do they lead you towards that goal? Do they hold you back?
Right,
And it's not,
right.
and you don't necessarily have to completely cut certain relationships off, but you kind of reduce the amount of time you spend with them.
Absolutely. That's because me, it ain't
Yeah.
nothing for me to cut up off. But
Sheesh.
yeah, you can reduce.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
can just reduce the, and
Absolutely.
then, but the thing is, the more you move towards your goal, those relationships naturally begin to dissolve, because either the person is going to try and keep up with you and kind of follow that same path, which is to
Hmm.
set a goal for themselves and then move towards that, live with intention, live with a purpose, or they're just going to be like, oh man, you're doing too much. I'm just going to, you're always busy or whatever. And so they just kind of dissipate into whatever, into the background.
Right. Or if it's
So
a genuine friendship, then it would never end. Because for instance,
yeah, I
the
mean
friends
that's
I have back home,
supporters.
yeah,
You have
you know
great supporters.
the four friends I have back home now. Do we talk every day? Like we obviously we're not in the same city.
Hmm.
We encompass what three or four different states. Three does something different. So whatever it is, we have busy lives. Have we're all for the most part all of us are married except for one. All of us have kids except for one.
Hmm.
But even that one is just busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to build his own empire. So although we're still friends, so when we get back together it's like we never missed a beat.
Hmm.
But the everyday life stuff is just here and there, touch whatever. So our because we don't because we're the proximity has changed,
Hmm.
and some of our goals have changed in life. Obviously we don't spend as much time together or text as much or call as much or whatever that may be. But I mean, we still brothers though, so when we get together it's
Okay.
always going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So you do have those too. So you can't be looking, and that's my whole thing. Like every single doggone relationship can't be. What kind of value you giving? You know what I'm saying? Because now you become a consumer. The question is,
Okay.
what can I give to this
Yes.
relationship?
Yeah.
And then when you realize that you're the only person giving,
Hmm.
be bold enough to be like, hey, I've given some value to this relationships and pull out the receipts. I've done boom, boom, boom. And I was just, wondering like when
What do you bring to the table?
is this ever going to be reciprocated? You know what I'm saying? Because I
Hmm.
enjoy your friendship, I
Okay.
enjoy your company, but I can't just be the one giving all the time. Somebody feels some kind of way with that. I mean, they wasn't cool with you anyway. They was just there to get your stuff anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So
and stuff just don't mean money, but
yeah,
your time is valuable. I'm
for
saying
sure.
your resources are valuable. The knowledge you have is valuable, and we don't give it away or you give it away for free to a point if you're getting something back,
Yeah.
right? So the reason why the bank holds your money is because they get to gain interest off your money. I'm saying they're not just taking your money just for the free; they getting something out of it too. So although it sounds bad, so we're saying what everybody else is thinking anyway, but you just don't roll into a relationship and you get nothing out of that relationship. What kind of relationship is that? Like you
Yeah.
just everybody gets something out of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Even people, and people want to bring, religion into it. Jesus came. He did. No, listen. Did he not get something for dying for all these crazy folk? Does he not get to go to heaven and sit next to his father and
Crown
be
of
crowned
glory.
as the son of God and all that good stuff? Like, even the kindest person in history got something out of the relationships. I'm gonna
Mm.
come down to this earth. I'm gonna do what you told me to do, and you're gonna glorify me.
Hmm.
I got something out the relationship. There's no relationship that you should enter and is void of value. And
Yeah.
again, the value will look different depending on the relationship.
Right. Yeah. So you mentioned, addressing the person that's consuming on, like, so would you break up with a friend or would you just kind of ghost? I feel like, I mean, I'm a ghoster.
We are both ghosters.
Yeah, I don't know how to
But
disappoint people.
again, that's why you assess. You just see, that's the problem. That's
Oh,
the problem.
all right.
I think a lot of us just jump in head first into the deep end when it comes to relationships because we don't want to offend nobody. Somebody be like, "Hey, we going to the movies tonight to watch a new Marvel movie. You wanna come?" Hey, sometimes you gotta tell them no. Build some kind of distance and
Like
like we
boundaries.
ain't that close
Yeah.
yet. Get to know somebody. This is even a friendship. Get to know somebody so you can sit back and see red flags. Are there somebody that just wants to have fun all the time and it's about them, 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 and what they're doing, about their drama, about their kids, about their family, about their feelings, and it's
Mhm.
never about you or the people around them? Or is it somebody that's always at least trying to give, hey, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Hey, there's this thing I'm always inviting you to. Hey, not only are they trying to invite you to this movies, like, hey, yo, I got this, free tickets to this conference. They're talking about real estate. They're talking about how to start your own business. They're talking about how to get back into school. They're talking about how to maximize your 9 to 5. Like, yeah, I got an extra ticket. You want to roll with me? Like, it's not
Gotcha.
just about
Yeah.
having fun, especially as an adult. Like, it's about like, how are you leveling up?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to
Right.
get
Yeah.
somewhere. I ain't
And
trying to
that's
stay in the
yeah.
same. So what are they offering?
Yeah.
So you would only know that if you're stepping back a little bit. So just don't jump
Mhm.
in head first in the deep end. It's like take it a while. Like I ain't gonna hang out just because I met you yesterday and you got my phone number. Don't mean I'm about to respond to every one of your text messages. I might decline some of your calls. Just know, like, hey, we ain't that cool yet. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Let's build this thing, and then I can. Now it's on my terms. You know what I'm saying? Do I want to give value to this relationship?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
I
Do
want
you
to
have
be
the
a part of
capacity
this
to do that?
relationship? Right.
Mhm.
But if you just jump in head first, you answering every text message, you going to everything, you hanging out. Now all of a sudden, it's really quick to build a close relationship. Just like it's really quick to you can fall in love with somebody in a week. Somebody can be good friends in a week. Now everybody in their feelings when I want to be by myself for this week. Oh man, but you just don't go into it that quick like that.
Yeah.
And then there's other friendships that it just happens organically and you just, friends really quick and you
Right.
instantly adding value. And that's the friends I have here. The two
Mhm.
friends, really good friends that I have here, just instantly value adders. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think, I want to say that I add value to the friendship too. And if I haven't been, they ain't told me.
Yeah. So
So
that's what I was gonna ask next. Like, what kind of friend do you think you are? Because I sometimes I think about that and just to kind of determine, well, what value am I adding to whatever said relationships? And I think for me, in terms of I guess social relationships, that's not work related or
mhm,
business related. Um, my thing is usually, well, ask how you're doing. Like
right.
just check in and like I think for me and I guess do you give the level of value that you give to people what you think is valuable.
You give to people what you think
So,
is valuable. So whatever level, so you don't, because for instance, you could have somebody who don't understand giving value and they don't know yet and they're
right.
they're growing. So I'm not gonna my amount of value that I give is not determined by what that person's giving me. Because I
Right.
have my own standards for my own self.
Right. And so for me,
Message.
oh Lord. I think for me it's just really what's valuable is knowing the person, like
Hmm.
getting a deeper understanding of what are you thinking? Why are you thinking this way? Because I think when people feel known, it just creates a certain level of closeness, and
Right.
now the friendship or the whatever relationship just has value altogether. Because I think in general, people just want to be known. And so to
Absolutely.
me, if I decide to engage in a friendship, then my goal is, well, how do I know this person? How do I make them feel like they're known or that they're cared for?
Okay.
Um, and I guess 'cause for me in return, that's what I look for. Like I want to know that I'm cared for and that I'm known because in general, as an introvert, I'm making my, as I keep saying that, I don't just reveal myself to just anybody because that's
Right.
precious to me, who I am. And so, again, then that's just how I approach just social friendships, and that's why I try to keep those small because it takes a lot to get to know people, um and then it takes a lot for me to open up.
Right.
So yeah, anyway, that my question was, how do you think you bring value to people, or what do you think is valuable
I
as
think
to what
just
you bring to the table?
uh um number one, again, just I'm always a person that likes to know stuff. So as I know, especially if I think it's like stock markets, real estate, whatever, I think it's valuable. It can put some money in your pocket.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or it can at least give you some kind of resource to help you, whether it's grow spiritually, grow with money, grow, get healthy, with your body. Um, I always share that. I'm always open, always willing to share anything. There's nothing that I just hold back from anybody.
That is
I'm not
true.
one of them people that's like, oh man, I got this, man. I went to this master class and I learned this stuff and I'm just gonna hold on to this information. Like I'm
Hmm.
not, I'm gonna be the first. Like when I see my boys, I'm gonna be the first. Hey, yo, I went to this master class. It's like, da 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 da.
Hmm.
And I'm always learning something. So I mean, they just eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Right.
What's relevant to them, they take, and what's not, I mean, they just don't. But I think all three of us are like that though. We just, are always willing to share of ourselves and our knowledge,
Mhm.
to help each other grow. So I think we feed off that. So
Yeah.
if you're around consumers, you're going to feed off that. If you're always around
Mm.
consumers, you're going to feed off that. If
Mhm.
you're always around
Yeah,
contributors, you're going to feed off that. So
it's
yeah,
true.
just again, as the intro says, you are becoming who you hang around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so that's why it's important for the people that you
you are
hang
becoming your
around.
circle. Yep,
Yeah, and it's important for those people to have some type of value that they bring to the table. And so, I think now just thinking about the concept of bringing value to relationships, now I see it slightly different, because it's not just this vague,
right.
distant concept of like, I don't know,
Just
this gimmicky,
buzzword.
yeah,
Yeah,
buzzword, gimmicky, like social media phrase. But it's really like, how does that impact my life? Where
right.
do I see my life? Where do I see myself going? And then who are the people around me who are going to help me get there? And it's not just, hey, I'm consuming and you're going to help me get to where I'm going, but we can collectively work towards getting better so that the people coming behind us, specifically our children, they're picking up the baton and they're also doing, going further than we were going.
Absolutely,
So yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's because I said, like for instance, again, I listened to a shout out to the Wall Street Trapper. Hopefully, you can get on this podcast too. But I really admire that brother. Struggle is where he comes from.
Mhm.
How he got from where he was to where he is today. Um, his just tenacity. We heard something. Some guy said, what is it said? Passion is for losers. You got to be obsessed.
Well, he
Whatever
also
you want
said
to,
it's for
you
hobbies.
got to be obsessed. That brother Wall Street Trapper, man, he is obsessed with the knowledge of stock market, investing, and all this
Mm.
things, and that's how he can grow and get what he has and all that good stuff. But he said something that was pretty cool and talking about just about value. He was like, man, coming from a working class family, you come from the hood, like the dream is to make six figures, you know.
Mm.
And he's like, you want to know when you realize six figures is not a lot of money? When you made six figures. Then it's like, okay, I want a million. And then you realize, well, when a million's not a lot of money? Well, when you make a million.
Mm.
And the question is like, okay, well, when is enough enough? Because that's why everybody's, oh, well, the rich people, all they want is more money. Yeah, because when they get to that point, they realize it's not enough. I'm
Mm.
always living above my means, it's not enough. So his thing is like, man, I want to give value not only to my friendships, also to people below me, whether it's my, you know, younger siblings, cousins, children, because I can say I make 10 million. I need to teach them how to make 20 so they can teach the next people how to make 40. They can
Mhm.
next, so what the value you add, and this is the cool thing about value, the value you add for that person, all you saw was the interaction, the transaction you have from yourself to that person. You have no clue where that person took that value. You have no clue where they took that
Mhm.
knowledge and
Mhm.
how it may have impacted. You impacted one person. That one person maybe impacted 10 people off of
Right.
the stuff that you've
Right.
given them.
Yeah.
So that's how impactful, that's how important it is to be a true friend and giving. So that's why it's like, man, as you get older, it's not, yeah, you want to have fun, you want to kick it.
Mhm.
Yeah, do we have fun? We kick it, we go out, we eat good, we party or whatever, and we
I don't
uh
party.
yeah, you turn up. But whatever.
No.
I wish I had a videotape. Lord have mercy. I
I'm a
got witnesses.
dignified
I
woman.
got witnesses. But anyway, um
Okay.
I got witnesses. But anyway, we have a lot of fun together. We
Mhm.
enjoy each other's company, but we also have some of those serious conversations and
Mhm.
you know how do you grow and what are we doing to grow and you know um, a lot of us obviously centered around the same spiritual aspects of different things and
Mhm.
the other one of my friends, he has three boys. They're not too much older than our three girls.
Mhm.
Another one, they're a little bit younger than us, but they just have their first kid and just different areas of life and different ages. And it's just, there's so much you can do with that.
Mhm.
But even if you don't, even if you and all your friends are single, there's still stuff that you know that you're learning that you're holding back from your friends
Yeah.
and you just don't want to say nothing because all y'all do is party and you don't think your friends are serious but maybe they
Mhm.
partying just to get away from all the seriousness of life and then in a certain context they're willing to listen to what you have to say um
Mm.
so I mean
Yeah.
it just all depends because the well, I can tell you what's not value. That's a good. I can tell you what's not value.
What?
Always partying, having fun. Because life ain't about partying and having fun. Like, what's that gonna get you? Gonna party, have fun, die, and then what you done
Gee.
left behind? Who you
Hey,
didn't taught? Like, what did you do to help the generation behind you?
the value was avoiding life's problems, I guess.
That's not value. That's just vanity.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that's that's how I see myself and
Yeah.
how I add just something extra to the relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do that. I mean, it's just part of being grown in relationships.
Yeah, and that's something I think we weren't prepared for. It's just how relationships shift as you get older. Um, and so anyway, the last thing I was thinking about, and it doesn't have to be super long or deep, but obviously we can go into valuable relationships in
Mhm.
every kind of way possible.
Absolutely.
Parenting, marriage, which at some point I guess we can do that. Just talk about how uh, not necessarily bringing value to a marriage, but just how dynamics work in a marriage and
How does your spouse help you grow?
how they can be very unique in different
Mhm.
couples. Um, and the thing about relationships, and I guess I'll speak on like marriage relationships. When you look out to society and the things that they put out,
Mm.
like the what the expectation is when it comes to relationship is just so off. Like we watched,
Message.
what were we watching? Where they're like, it was Married at First Sight.
Oh, that
Okay,
trash.
so it's Married at First Sight, and the other one too. That's like, man, it's gonna bother me.
That's
Where
the
they
one on
swap
Netflix. Yeah, the one on
marriage.
Netflix.
It's like
Ultimatum.
ultimatum, dumb stuff like that. So the main
I
thread in
wish I had
all
a
of
fail button. I'm gonna put me a fail soundtrack
the
on
main
here.
thread and why these people were unhappy was that the other person was not, I guess, bringing value to them. They're not making me happy, and they're not doing
But the
this, and they're
value they
not
were looking for.
right. But
Right.
what people forget or they don't realize is that it's
That's why you shouldn't get married at first sight, ladies and gentlemen.
well, that's not the point, but you're going in looking for something. You're going in as a consumer, not necessarily looking
Right.
for how you're going to help this person. Now, maybe you are, but the emphasis was so big on what they're not getting
Me,
and
me,
why.
me.
Yeah, it's very self-centered. And so when it comes to valuable relationships, it's you have to look outside of yourself. You have to be selfless to a certain
Absolutely.
extent. And so the last thing I wanted to bring up, which I'll probably will always bring up, is the faith aspect on that. What does that look like in faith communities?
Right.
Because I think a lot of times, at least from the previous institution we're part of, um, the idea of just having it was just like, oh no, you're friends with everybody because we all believe the same thing, or people. I don't know. I feel like that's something that's not taken seriously. Like having,
True.
I mean, yeah, the idea of community, quote unquote, was thrown around a lot. But
Yeah, but
again,
then
it was just
when
social
your mind
clubs.
shifts and you
Um,
think worldview changes, then the relationship
if you don't fit
ends.
into the box, then
Yep.
they're like, well, you
Oh,
don't really fit in here. Um,
yep.
but yeah, I mean, but when it comes to faith, and we're followers of Messiah, and we also believe in Torah, um, bringing value to people, or the idea of being selfless.
Hmm.
Um, when you're going into relationships or any type of situation, the goal is for you to love your neighbor as yourself,
Right.
and it's not necessarily just to love yourself as your neighbor loves you, or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the phrase I used to say is, what is it? Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So my thing is, like, if you treat me like trash, apparently you want to be treated like trash, so I'm gonna treat you like trash.
Right, I'm gonna treat you like you treat me. Right.
But
And
that's not.
that's not how it goes. And so I think,
Shout out to growth, 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 growth.
sheesh, seriously, um, lost my train of thought yet again because you cut me off.
Oh, my bad.
What was I saying?
um,
Being selfless,
yes, being
loving your
selfless,
neighbor as
loving your neighbor as
yourself.
yourself. Yes.
So now the premise is you're giving value. You're going into something giving. You're not going
Hmm.
in looking for something. And
Absolutely.
so a lot of times, um, you know, at least for us, filtering how we do relationships through our belief system. How is that reflecting us loving our neighbor as ourselves? Because
Right.
sometimes you can give to someone that is not able to give it back to you because they're not in a mental state to be able to do so. They're not in a state in the season in life where they're able to do so. And so sometimes you can walk with someone where you're giving, until hopefully they get to a point where they're able to stand on their feet and be like, man, okay, they may not give back to you, but they could pay it forward.
Absolutely.
There's
That's why I said
So
every
yeah.
value gonna look different. Just because I give you $100 don't mean I'm expecting $100 back.
Right,
You know,
right.
maybe like, oh man, I can't give you $100, man. I can watch your kids.
Yeah.
I can't give you the money you gave me, but I can do something. But again, if the person is always with the drama,
Yeah.
I mean, everything in their life is chaotic, and they always like they don't never bring anything just but negativity, drama,
Hey, test the
whatever.
spirits by the
I
spirit,
mean,
and
yeah, you
you'll
got to
know.
cut that thing off, man.
Yeah,
You got to
definitely.
cut that thing off. Now, if
Definitely.
you married to him, I don't know. If it's your parent, I don't
Ooh.
know. If it's your sibling, I
Well,
don't know.
that's where boundaries come in.
That's true.
You set boundaries,
That's
and that
true.
doesn't mean you
Absolutely.
cut them off, but it's like, hey, I can only see you for this uh, a period of time. I can't just sit with you for hours on end.
Yeah, I think Gary Vee said that too. He said that once in the past, a long time ago. He was like, man, yeah, once you get to a certain level in life, it's not that you got to leave anybody behind, because I think that's a big thing too. I think that's trash. You should be trying to build people up.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, that deserves a message. But maybe, the friend that I talk to 3, 4 times a week, I just talk to you once a week now.
Yeah.
Because I'm on some other stuff that you ain't trying to be on. You
Mhm.
trying to be on some foolishness. I'm trying to be on some growth type stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that value now, maybe that friend does have the value of just the part. They party all the time. Like, man, I had a long week at work. I'm gonna hit up the partier. We're gonna go out and have some fun.
Right. Right. Right.
So maybe there is a place where that is valuable, but you just have to
Hmm.
know that it's going to be all about them. Like, you have to go in being honest and already knowing, so you don't get yourself hurt.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you got anything else?
No, that's it. I think
Well,
that's
hey, listen,
wrap this thing up.
y'all. As always, I hope this helped y'all, and to try to define what value looks like in any given relationship. Because again, it's all going to look different. It depends on the person, it depends on you, what you can bring, what you expect, expectations, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all about the V word, value. What are you adding to that relationship? Are you going in thinking you're going to get something? Are you already going in with an open heart, trying to give something? A very wise man told me, always keep my heart open. And people
Yes.
remind me that every single
Yes.
time
Yes.
they see
Yes.
me. But shout out to him. And yeah, bring value to relationships.
Yeah.
Do not be a consumer. There's enough consumers in the world. We buy too much stuff. We watch too much stuff. We suck up too much stuff. We waste too much food. We're consuming every day, all day. Add some value at least to the
Over
relationships that you
consuming for
have.
sure. And final thought that I have.
Go ahead.
Final thought is, in order for you to be able to really figure out what value it looks like to you, do some introspection. Look
Yes.
within first before you
Start
look
adding
outward.
value to your own life. You can add value to somebody else's.
And on that note,
Hey, we up out of here.
peace out.
Holla.